Anybody really stop?
Y'all don't mind being on camera?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Not
Just been out here preaching to the wind for the most part. Trying to get this word out, man.
Yeah, we get a few stragglers because where we at, they doing a lot of running and stuff like that. Then some people, going back and forth to the museum.
It's been, the museum has been getting some action. Just looking at it from here, like I've been seeing a lot of people going to the museum. It's been a lot of Edomites more than anything, though. We just seen a Jake go in there. We tried to get him to come over here. He was.
Yeah, I called out to him, but he didn't want to deal with it.
Who, Jake?
Yeah, he didn't want to come. He talking about, y'all Islam? Like, no, man. No, brother. We not
I just
Islam.
watched.
It's funny, man. Whenever they see brothers in order, with structure and order, man, they always think it got to be Islam. You know what I'm saying? Our people got to come off that, man.
And that's kind of what we was going into, man. We were actually going into the fact that, Jake, they still mentally holding on to idols, man.
Right.
They not becoming new wineskins. They not becoming, new garments, man. They want to put the old with the new. They want to kind of couple it together. Well, we all can do this and no, And that's why, Jake. That's the first thing Jake want to say. Well, let's everybody come together. Well, how we gonna fix this situation? Well, we all gotta come together. Well, we're gonna come together to do what? We're gonna come together to do what? So let's just go back into the word, man. So, so let's kind of get into it. This is Micah chapter 6, verse 2. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with his people. So it's not for everybody else. It's not with everybody else, man. He's talking about his people. Okay? He's not dealing with the so-called white man, the so-called Chinese man, Moab. He's not dealing with Ammon. He's not dealing with Amalek, okay, who take his word, his oracles in their mouth. He's not dealing with these nations. It says, hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, man. Why is it a controversy? Because the Lord is trying to show you who he is through afflicting you, and you're not grieving. You know what I mean? Like it says in Jeremiah chapter 5. So we have to grieve in these last days. We won't rather mourn when we see all these abominations going on among our people. And let me go ahead and get that as well. Let me go ahead and pull that 1 Corinthians chapter 5.
I got it. I'm in Corinthians already.
Take a peek at it. All right. So yeah, let's go. Verse 2. It says, oh, you got it?
Yeah. Go ahead. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 2. And ye are puffed up, and had not rather mourned that ye had done this deed might be taken away from among you.
And what was that? And that was verse 1. It says, go ahead, read verse 1.
Verse 1. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife.
That's right, and that's abomination, man. That's going into abomination. You know what I mean? These types of things are not supposed to be known among our people, man. So that's a part of the controversy right there, man. And then the so-called white man calling himself the Jew, okay? Them people, them calling themselves the Jews, okay? Calling themselves the Israelites, calling Yahweh, calling Yahweh a so-called Israelite. I mean, calling Yahweh a so-called white man.
Yeah, come on over here. The camera won't go on you if you don't want to. Come on over here. What's your name, sister?
Nancy.
Nancy, nice to meet you, Nancy. I'm Gabar. So you're Hispanic on your father's side?
Yes.
Have you ever heard that Hispanics are Israelites according to the Bible? You haven't heard that? You believe in the Bible?
Yes.
All right, we're going to give you a couple of scriptures. Get Deuteronomy 28 and 15. You familiar with the book of Deuteronomy?
Yes.
You know who's speaking in Deuteronomy?
Who wrote it?
Yeah.
Moses.
Good. All praises. All right, so the book of Deuteronomy is Moses speaking to the Israelites, right? All right, so 15. Let's get 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1. 28, verse 1. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
See, is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? A curse. Yeah.
Of course it's bad.
It's a bad thing. You'd be surprised. It's a bad thing. Yeah. So Moses is telling the Israelites, if they do not keep the commandments that he's given them, that all these curses shall come upon them, right? So we're going to go over a few curses, and you tell me if who these curses fit. You understand what I'm saying? This is how you understand who the Israelites are. Go ahead.
Curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field.
So cursed in the city and cursed in the field. So when you look around the cities around America, what race of people do you see mainly that look like they're living in a cursed estate? Who do you find living in the ghettos, in the slums, in the lower areas of the cities?
Say that again.
Not the homeless. What race of people?
Oh, race.
What race of people do you see living in the ghettos?
Like American.
Say that again.
Like American, like born here.
Not necessarily. Okay, let's put it a different way. Who in the border right now is having their children taken from them?
Bring it out.
Mexicans, right? Would you consider that being cursed? That's a serious curse, right? To have your children ripped away from you and to be held in cages like an animal, right? So that.
Hey, brother, you know your nationality?
That would be a form of being.
You know your nationality?
Of being cursed in the city.
I don't think you good, bro. Right? You gotta hear the word.
Who fills up the jails?
Hey, brother, parlay for just a second, brother.
Mostly whites and.
In the jails, you think mostly whites filling up the jails?
Well, there's some. I mean, there's the serial killers.
No.
You said in what?
In jails. In the jails. No. There you go.
Most
Hispanics and blacks are who you see in the jails, right? The whites would be the warden of the jail, right? You got a few white people in jails, but when you look at the actual population of the jails, you actually find that it's Hispanics and and African Americans, right? In the fields, who was slaves in the fields picking cotton, right? Picking sugar cane, picking all these different things for the so-called white man. Hispanics, right? And blacks, right? Exactly. All right, let's get
It's not. These things are not to shame you. This is we want to get to the point. You're not finna just hear these things and be like, oh, you know, I see it all the time. I'm trying to get rid of that type. I don't want that to be for my kids. And this is what we've been taught, but this is leading to something better, right? What you got?
It's a 32.
32. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
Ain't that what we just talked about at the borders? Right? That's exactly right. That's to the T.
Non-stop crying.
There's nothing you can do about it. No matter how that baby's crying, I want my mommy, I want my daddy. No matter how the parents crying, give me my child. There's nothing we can do about it, right? They just take it. There's no might in our hand, right? That's if that's not
your nationality, bro?
If that's not a curse, I don't know what a curse is, right?
You so-called Hispanic, man. You speak English. You Hispanic. Where your father from? From Mexico. You want to come hear the word?
Bible.
I'm telling you, right here, King James Version Bible. Come hear the word. All right, they can hear. They can hear the word too.
All right. Let's get 37.
All right. It says, "And thou shalt." This is Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword."
An astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. So being called a Mexican is a byword, right? Yeah, we got some. Appreciate it. All right, come. I'm gonna come by there before we leave.
Definitely.
Come. So being called a Mexican would be a form of a byword, right? Because that's not what you guys were called in the ancient times. That's what the Spaniards put on your people when they came and took over that land, right? That's who taught you Spanish, right? Because that's not your native language. That's who taught you Spanish. So, and then a proverb would be, I remember when I used to watch the show, the George Lopez show. He was mad because there was a statue in a man's lawn, and it was like a sleeping Mexican, right? And he was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? He was pissed off about it. His daughter went and broke the statue because that was a form of a proverb, you know, saying something about Mexicans, they like sleeping in the sun or something like that, right? Right? So, or being called a wetback, something like that would be a proverb or a byword, right? So you can't say that about any other nation. The so-called white man will tell you that they come from the Caucasus Mountains of George Russia. They call themselves Caucasian, right? They don't have a byword put on them. They may have proverbs, we may call them crackers, but it doesn't stick really. Like it's not the same.
They're not known for that.
Exactly. It doesn't bounce around like it bounces around with us. What you got? You see, it's with us. It bounces around. Hey, those are niggers. You know what I'm saying? Those are blacks. Those are Negroes, right? Those are African Americans. Those are Mexicans. Those are wetbacks. You see what I'm saying? Those are spicks. Those type of terms are what stick to us, right? So that's another curse that's in the scriptures according to the Bible for the Israelites. Let's get 45 and 46.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 45. And it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he command thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So these curses are upon the children of Israel for a sign, right? So you would know that this is Herman Park because there's a sign that says Herman Park. There's a sign on the road that says Herman Park Drive, right? So you will notice how to get to a place by noticing the sign, right? So it's the same thing. You'll know who the real Israelites are on this very day by these signs. These signs are these curses that are upon them for breaking the commandments of the Most High God. So when we go through these commandments, there's about 44 commandments. When we go through these curses, about 44 curses. And all these curses, when we look through them, there's only one nation of people that will actually fit these curses. Now, people say all the time, blacks and Hispanics, we're the same people. Some believe it, some don't. But the Bible tells us that we are actually the same people that come from different tribes, right? So it's a very important thing when we look upon these curses, we realize, hey, that's talking about us. Hey, we are the Israelites. I'm not a Mexican. I'm not an African American. I'm an actual Israelite. You will be an Israelite from the tribe of Israel, right?
So it says in verse 46, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So I just wanted to point out that it's going to be a wonder, because the brother said in 37, you said it should be a proverb and a byword. It says you should be an astonishment. So they're going to be astonished, you know what I mean? Because they knew what we were. We the only ones that don't know. We don't know who we are. We only know what they tell us. That we come from slavery, we come from oppression, we come from being murdered. Mayans, the Inca, the Aztec, the Native Americans, a lot of these nations had gold. The Mayan, you all right?
I'm looking for your pocket. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I don't know.
Are you actually recording?
Yeah.
Is it through like YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to go?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I hope I didn't stop you.
No. We're out here for you.
We want to let you know these things, because also it speaks about Christ and who he died for. And if we're getting to the point that your people are in this book, and your people was the Israelites, he said from the tribe of Issachar, right? So what did that, at the end of that, you're going to be asking, well, what does that mean for me? What is that? It doesn't mean all of this. None of this belongs to us, as this is not our inheritance, man. Our inheritance is going to come from the Most High through his son, Yahweh Shai. So just endure just for a little while longer, okay? So it says astonishment, right? So yeah, the brother wanted me to read a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever. So it's going to even come through generation to generation. So that means that this curse is from right then when Moses was telling them, hey, if y'all don't listen to these laws, statutes, and commandments, all these curses. So even on their seed, and it's going to be a sign. This is the only way you're going to know. You can go to get the blood all day, but it's only those results are going to lead back to oppression. That's it. Yeah, you are, Mexican or whatever, and it's just oppression. It leads to another byword. And what the brother said, he said that byword was a what? Something that was not your God-given nationality. So this is why we need you to endure and hear. Well, it would behoove you to endure and hear the word really just a little bit longer. All right? 54, right?
Yeah.
So it says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil, toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
So when we examine that, we hear three different things in there, right? We hear the man that was tender among you and very delicate. So in ancient times, when a so-called Hispanic man seen a so-called black man or another so-called Hispanic man, he was very tender and delicate towards him. Hey, are you okay? Your family doing all right? Can I help you with something? Do you know, those type of things. Now we're saying with this curse upon you, when another Hispanic man sees when a Hispanic man sees another Hispanic man, he's gonna be evil towards him. He might
even in his eyes.
He might mean mug him. He may or if another Hispanic sister, it says man, but it's referring to the sisters as well. Yeah. You see another Hispanic woman, I don't like her. You see what I'm saying? Or black on brown violence. We see that all the time, right? Hispanics and blacks. In my school, that's all the fights ever was Hispanics and blacks fighting all day long.
And there's
right?
a natural hatred that's between, the two. You know what I mean? Some say it's more so from the other side to the other. And and some even say, well, blacks hate Mexicans, So nevertheless, that word right there, that curse is still prevalent to this day.
Exactly. That's because I'm pretty sure, I don't know what high school you went to. Reagan? No, that's where on Tidwell?
No, it's on the Heights.
Oh, the Heights. Yeah, that's right. So I'm pretty
sure you was in a better area.
But I'm pretty sure it was still going on there too, right?
Well, yeah.
I didn't see it a lot. I guess because I didn't really talk a lot.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure you know that it's a real thing, black on brown violence. Definitely.
I mean, the coyotes, right?
I mean,
what do you know anything about? Well, I'm sure you know what happens. Their own people are capturing them. Hey, man, you send us this money. If you don't, your cousin gone. Yeah. All right, because look at we're in Houston. We're in Texas. Texas used to be predominantly Hispanic, right? So guess what? I went to school with a lot. I used to box with a lot of them. You know what I mean? So they tell me what's going on. They tell me how they call them coconuts. Ever heard of that? So white on the inside, brown on the outside. I've even heard older Hispanics tell me that their own people call them that. They say, oh, because they don't speak Spanish.
A lot of them hate Chicanos.
Hey,
right?
Come
on.
on.
Hate Chicanos because they say they're not real Mexicans.
It's not just to shame you. Like I said, it's leading to something.
Right. They're just showing you how the curse actually fits. You see what I'm saying?
You want to be a part of this. You want to be the ones that's known for these curses. Because if you're not, that means that you don't need a physician. What does it say? What you ever heard Yahweh speak on that?
Christ.
Or Christ, Jesus. Do you ever hear him speak on that? He said, those who
are healed. I did not come for those who are well.
Yeah, but those who need a physician. He said, I called to bring the sinner to repentance. Right?
And so also it says on there, against his woman, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to examine which families are held to a high standard of domestic violence, which nation of people have a lot of domestic violence in their homes, right? And if you look at the numbers, it's going to tell you once again, blacks and Hispanics lead that group, right? Then you go deeper, it says against his children, which he shall leave, right? So when you look at the numbers again, you find the same thing. Single family households is going to be the same race of people, the blacks and Hispanics, right? They're going to be known for the father leaving and going to the store, ain't coming back. Father becomes a drunk. Next thing you know, the wife puts him out. Whatever it may be, the father is no longer apparently in the home, right? That's a curse that's upon these very same people, right? What else you got? 50,
55, and then we can go at 60 or 48.
Yeah, you can go there.
All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So it's saying that you're going to serve your enemies, right? In hunger and in thirst and in want of all things. So when you go to the store to buy food, you're not buying food that's ran by another so-called Hispanic man or Hispanic woman. You're getting it from a so-called white man or a so-called Asian man. Even if you go to an Hispanic restaurant, you got to look at where that food actually comes from, right? Who their vendor actually is, who they're going and buying the stuff for the restaurant from. I mean, see what I'm saying? They still have to go to these large white corporations in order to get the tables for their restaurant, the napkins for the restaurant, the Coca-Cola that you getting to drink from there. If you're getting a margarita, the tequila, all those type of things are still coming from these major white corporations, right? When you got clothes on, Your clothes that you're wearing on your back is still something that you're not getting from your own people. You have to go to another nation of people in order to get those clothes. The water that you're drinking, you get bottled water, it's Ozarka. We don't own Ozarka. You get bottled water, it's Aquafina. We don't own Aquafina. You get bottled water, it's what's the other one? Nestle, anyone that you name, we don't own it. Yeah. We don't own it, right? And water is free. It comes out the sky. But because of these curses, we still have to go to the same people that's oppressed us in every other way. The same people that's taking the children away from their parents at the borders is the same people that own these water companies, these food companies, and so on and so forth, right? So we have to understand that it's saying in want of all things. Now, we usually have signs out here, and the sign that we have, we can show you that your people and my people, we had yokes of iron put upon our neck in slavery. When the Spanish came and conquered the Mexicans, they put yokes of iron upon your neck. That's how they brought you Catholicism and made you bow down to Jesus Cristo in a white image. Even though the Bible tells you he's a so-called black man, they still made, and your people knew this at the time. They knew what color Jesus Cristo was. They knew he was a so-called black man at the time. But when the Spaniards came over, they came over with Catholicism. They broke you guys down. Same way they broke us down with Christianity, and they put a yoke of iron on your neck until you were destroyed. Being destroyed is in many forms. It's not talking about just destroyed as in death. It's talking about mentally destroyed as well. Now all of a sudden we look at the so-called white man in a higher state. He's this high holy person. He's everything, right? But then when we look at another Hispanic, he's just another Hispanic. We look at a black man, he's just a Negro. You see what I'm saying? But the white man, we have this high esteem for because they gave us these images and broke us down with a yoke of iron on our neck. You understand what I'm saying?
I got this quick scripture. So your brother's talking about hunger and thirst. And we start talking about the bottled water. Watch this. Now, if this don't blow your mind, I don't even know what else to tell you. Watch this. This is in Lamentations chapter 5, verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. Who are the true aliens? They call our people aliens, right? They call the so-called Indian man, so-called Mayan, Aztec, Native Americans. They call them what when they come into the country? Aliens. So it says, we are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows, like the brother was going into about the border, what's going on at the border to this day, right? And not only that, they kidnap you, put drugs in you, and now you're into sex trafficking all over the earth. That happens to blacks, Latinos, and blacks. Then it says, we have drunken our water for money. This is our land, and they saying that we drunk, and they're telling you you're gonna pay for it? You have a water bill? These things are not right with the Most High. Forget what you think and forget what everybody else think. Hey, we learn to make peace with it. We hold hands with everybody. No, the Most High said this is the right judgment. This is the one that we're supposed to say. We're supposed to lament for those things, meaning cry out. Like this is supposed to be in your heart. Like, man, this is what's happening to my people, right? So it says we have drunken our water. It says our. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Home Depot. What? Come on. This is our. What are you talking about? The Native American man, and there's woolly haired people with you here too. People that look just like me because we're not separate. We're not divided. They called you divided. Those who conquered you, and it'll benefit them for you to be divided from your brethren. So they called you divided.
And they can say you're a minority. Then they can call us a minority because we're divided. If you think about all of the so-called Hispanics, I say so-called because we don't hold to that term. You're an Israelite from the tribe. you're an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. Mm-hmm. So that's what we call you. If we start talking about the Bible where we say so-called, because that's what you're so-called, but that's not what you actually are.
Exactly.
Right? So don't take offense to when I say that.
Yeah.
All right. We put all of us together. How can they ever call us a minority? Right? I was never in about a break. I got something like I was in the Bible actually tells you about when not to America, right? Read 13 and 40. 13 and 40 down to where it says they traveled to Arshan.
Okay.
40 all the way to where it says traveled to Arshan.
This is the book of Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40.
Salakia. So this book right here is a book that's actually part of the Bible that they removed.
Right. This is King James Version of the Holy Bible. Authorized King James Version Apocrypha means book, lost books.
Those are books that they removed out of the Bible.
It wasn't lost; they just removed it.
Martin Luther of the Protestant Church removed it out of the Bible in 1620 or something like that.
And was Martin Luther a black man?
No, Martin Luther
was he an Israelite?
He was a
Israelite?
so-called white man.
He was a so-called white man.
Right.
And it benefit them to remove this. Watch this.
Exactly. Listen to this.
2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osei, the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land, but they took this counsel among themselves.
So they were in captivity in Assyria. These 10 tribes, there's 12 tribes, there's 12 tribes that make up Israel. These 10 tribes were in captivity in Assyria, and they weren't able to keep their laws, the statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave us. So they're taking counsel among themselves right now. They're saying, hey man, we got to get the hell up out of here. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
So they ain't want to be around the Assyrians anymore. They ain't want to be around the people that were not Israelites anymore. They wanted to get away from them.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
What place on earth was a place where no man has ever dwelt?
Because they even call this the new what? The new kingdom?
America was the only place where no man had ever dwelt.
All the way down to Brazil, to South America.
The Americas. It was the only place where no man has ever dwelt. You can look it up in history. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. Go ahead.
That they might there and go into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
They had a long way to go leaving from
it said the Euphrates,
something like it from what's that?
Israel
and the so-called Middle
Egypt,
East area.
Yeah, all that area is over there in the area of what? Egypt and in the area of Israel,
Palestine,
it's like
Israel,
a strait.
all those little areas.
Yeah. It says for the Most High showed the Salakia, meaning sorry. It says for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through the country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. That dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. But those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders.
All right, so look, what was the place called that they went to? Arsareth, right? You hear that, right? Arsareth, right? Let me show you something. You read it. All right, so this is the Jewish encyclopedia, right? See what that says? It says the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man. That's what you heard, right? In which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration, right? Then it gets deeper. It says, according to Ezra, this is what we just read, Columbus identified America with this land.
What?
That's clear.
So you're not Mexican?
That's clear. It's clear that the land that the 10 tribes had traveled to was the land that Columbus identified as America. So you guys traveled to this land, right? And that's how you are the native. Y'all are, even though y'all are called Hispanics, y'all are still the Native Americans. Y'all the same.
Mayans, Aztec, whatever you want to say. Even Mayan, Aztec, Inca, that was given to you. That's not what you truly are. It's still a byword. Yeah, it had you attached to royalty because y'all had gold, and the Lord blessed us. We had the Dark Ages. We ran all the England, Russia, Germany, all those countries, man. We used to be kings and queens over there, right? Same thing over here. Y'all were doing the same thing, living it up. But what happened? We didn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And just like the Lord said what he would do to us, he did it. He sent them to be his sword and destroy us off our lands. Did it not? He said he would do it. Gave it to you through the curses.
So as you can see, you know, these 10 tribes, which would be the northern kingdom, which would include Issachar, which you are. They would travel here. They would come here, and it says in the Jewish Bible.
Huh?
Because I want to Google it when I get home.
Yeah.
You just want to Google what I just said? What I just showed you? Okay, look. I'm gonna show you how you find it. All right, so yeah, it says Arsharith. That's how you spell it right there. No worries, I have T-Mobile. Mine is slow too. All right. And then since you have a phone, go to YouTube. I'm gonna show you how you can gain more edification, more knowledge on what we're showing you.
So what did you learn all this? Your Bible study?
No, actually, to be honest, it may sound kind of crazy, but the Holy Spirit, right? That's the simplest way to put it, right? So, brothers, like how we showing how we're bringing this to you, brothers brought this understanding to us. For me, it was via YouTube. Somebody showed me a YouTube page, and I started learning the same things that I'm telling you now. And from there, I continued to study on my own, right? Whether I'm watching YouTube videos or I'm just studying through the scriptures, it's basically, you know, once you gain this understanding of who you are, you usually become very obsessed with it, right? Because it's like, dang, I didn't know that. And you just go crazy with looking for the information, right? Kind of like how you're like, I'm gonna Google that. Like, it's the same thing, right? So from there, you start praying to God, and you ask Him to show you things, right? And as you learn what the commandments are and you begin to keep the commandments, He starts to reveal things to you. That's the biggest thing.
And then you can also, it's in the scripture that it's prophesied. The Lord's prophecy will be done no matter what, okay? Through prophecy, you go to Psalms chapter, because we are considered, like, you know how what people think about us. We're supposed to be in a servile position. We're supposed to be working, serving these nations, building up a kingdom, even though we are the oppressed people. We are the ones that are destroyed off the land, took here captive to build up this land. Okay, that's not our own.
I'm gonna save them to your playlist.
And
I think it's locked, so I think
we were brought here captive, and I can even kind of show it to you.
This is Isaiah. Jesus in here already.
Isaiah chapter 14. It says, "Look, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob." Jacob is the stock from which our forefathers have come, okay? Our forefathers are all the tribes: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Naphtali, so on and so forth. Zebulun, Dan, Gad, and it was Manasseh. So it's
on this page, on this page, that's where you'll find everything that we're talking about as far as that pertains specifically to you. It says Issachar, as Jesus in the Americas, learning how you, like what I was telling you, how they knew that Jesus was a black person. The Mayan Bible, all this type of stuff. They go into everything that breaks down everything about as far as you being from the northern kingdom of Israel. And then from there, you know, me and the brother will give you a couple of commandments to have understanding of, and then from there, you just continue to grow. All right. So
it says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and to set them in their own land." Right? To set them in their own land, meaning you're in a land that's not yours. And it says, "And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them, and the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids."